Hello, Healing Circle community. I'm going to do a new blog post today on postpartum depression, and it got me thinking that I should do a video regarding postpartum depression as well. Um, Postpartum depression is near and dear to my heart because I experienced postpartum depression. I was actually in the throes of the symptoms for 4 years, a long, long time. And yesterday, when I was on Facebook, I read an article that really prompted me to write my blog article on postpartum depression. It was about a woman who killed herself, who committed suicide, a new mother, after experiencing postpartum depression and not telling anybody about it. And so I really wanted to write about it, to share my story, and to also post a video about it today. So I have two children. I have two boys. I have a 9-year-old and I have a 7-year-old. And when I was pregnant with my 9-year-old, I actually started having symptoms of postpartum. Really, you could call it depression. I've experienced depression through different points in my life, and something that I have to learn how to manage, which has also helped me become a therapist and motivated me to become a therapist. But I would say the symptoms started when I was first pregnant with my first son. The pregnancy was unexpected. I was newly married, and my husband and I thought we were going to start trying, and wham, we got pregnant right away, which was a blessing for sure. But I wasn't ready for it, and I was pretty depressed. And then after I had my son, after the normal baby blues that most people feel, I was starting to feel worse. And I continued to feel worse until my son was around 2 years old. And then I got pregnant with my second. And then the symptoms came back, full speed. And I didn't really get better until my youngest was 2. So it was roughly 4 years of a dark place for me. And I just want to kind of highlight some of the symptoms. A lot of women get baby blues and postpartum confused. And for me, it made me not want to share my story, because even to this day, when I share my story with some of my nearest and dearest friends, they say, "Oh, me too. I went through the same thing. The week or two after, having the baby, I felt so hopeless." And those are baby blues symptoms. Most women go through baby blues after having a baby, typically 5 to 7 days after having the baby. It can last a week or so, and then usually symptoms start to subside. But for the postpartum victim, the symptoms start to get worse. The dark space begins to get darker, and you start to feel more isolated and alone. And for me, I can remember, being pregnant with my second son and spending a lot of time in bed, not really able to care for my first son or myself. My husband having to come home from work or work from home to take care of me, and to take care of my oldest son. And then I also had traumatic births. So these are things that a lot of people don't talk about. Having a baby can be traumatic. You can have a traumatic birthing experience, and I did with both of my children. I won't go into detail about that, but that added to that postpartum for me. I didn't get help until actually my husband, who's a very logical Mr. Fix-It, said, "Hey, maybe you should get on medication." And that really kind of jolted me and made me decide maybe I should get some help. Like, maybe I really need help. If my husband, of all people, who's very logical, is starting to see that this is wearing heavy on our whole family and him and my children, I decided to actually go get my own help. And as a therapist, you would think that I would have caught those symptoms earlier, but I think we all have this invincibility feeling, like, not me, it's not happening to me. And so I really wanted to do this video today to let the women out there, if you're feeling this way, if you know someone who's feeling this way, to get some help, to talk to somebody, to talk to other women, maybe a support group with other women who are experiencing postpartum or have experienced it. And this video is also for women who haven't experienced postpartum, who have maybe experienced the baby blues, now that you understand the difference, and that it's so important for you not to say, "Oh, I know what you mean, I totally felt what you felt," because that's only going to make the postpartum victim feel more alienated, more alone, more like, wow, nobody gets it. Like, what she's talking about, yeah, I've had that 10 times worse. Some of the symptoms that you may feel as postpartum, other than not being able to take care of yourself or feeling like you can't get out of bed or you can't take care of your baby, you could start to have these repeating ideas in your head, really irrational beliefs. For me, it was, I'm going to drop my baby, or I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to die, and who's going to take care of my baby while, I'm sitting here dead. Just really irrational beliefs that consume you, that just kind of play over in your mind over and over and over again and creates anxiety. Maybe you're not sleeping. For me, I wasn't sleeping. Even the baby was sleeping. I felt completely out of control. No identity. What's my new identity now as a mother? I had one identity as a young 20-something New Yorker, and now all of a sudden I have this newborn baby. I'm a mom. What does this mean? Who am I? So on and so forth. So all of those things compounded, and it took me a long time to really get my rhythm. And I think a lot of that had to do with getting help and also resources for African American women. There's a lot of postpartum groups out there. I hate to say it for white women, but for women of color, it's very difficult to find those spaces with other women that look like you. To top it off, I have 2 Black boys. How am I going to raise them in this world? And some of the things that, a person of color, what we deal with. So there were so many issues, compounded issues, coupled with the lack of motivation to get out of bed, to take care of myself, this kind of impending doom that I felt. So if you're out there and you're experiencing some of these things and you need someone to talk to, I would highly suggest that you pick up the phone, call a therapist. You can reach out to me on Healing Circle on www.healing-circle.org. Have any questions for me, or if you need a referral for a therapist, I would be more than happy to help you with that. In the future, I'll be also starting a group. So there's a lot of ways to get help, but it's really important to get help, to understand that you're not alone. And that's my story. I wanted to share it with you guys today. And if you have anything you want to share, you can check out my blog. I'll be posting that today. And I hope everyone has a good day. Take care.